Hey everyone, welcome to Dawnbringer on October 31st. Happy Halloween. This was the second semifinal of the 2021 World Championships. We had another nice long series with high entertainment value between Edward Gaming and Gen.G. And yeah, back and forth series, both teams kind of trading off games, trading off moments. Game 5 was decided pretty early on, so wasn't the most, but I think by that point you could kind of have the excitement of the anticipated result carrying you through if you're an EDG fan, or wind out of your sails if you're a Gen.G fan. That game wouldn't feel so good. But on the whole, I think a pretty entertaining series. You can't ask for much more than both semifinals going to 5. And I think, as I said in the written version of this, you're probably a little tired of me shouting out, hey, go to oracleselixir.com and read about it there. Individual game summaries and so on, maybe a slightly different angle on things, but routine. It's good. I talked about how this is probably the best possible entertainment value outcome for the series, because now we're going to get a finals that's truly international. You've got something for both the LPL fan base and the LCK fan base, and not every region but one being kind of disinterested outsiders, relatively speaking. So happy with that result. Of course, it meant that I got a bit of a hit on my fantasy as well, because I was looking for EDG to win. I thought they'd win a little more convincingly, honestly. So I was happy that it went as close as it did. But I think kind of the story of this series, I think it's easier for fans generally to latch onto a superstar story, something about a single player being the hero and carrying their team across the finish line, things that Faker's been able to do in tournaments or things like that, a clear tournament MVP story. But in this series, it was much more of a distributed effort. I thought there were lots of players you could shout out for moments within this series. On the Gen.G side, you had both BDD and Clid having parts, and Ruler as well, I think, to a slightly lesser extent, where they did some really admirable things, and smite steals. Clid really dominated the smites all throughout this series. BDD a little bit more mixed, not the best we saw from him in this tournament, but still very strong tournament on the whole, and this series I thought pretty good. And on the other side, of course, you had I think Scout is definitely worthy of a shout out. I think Viper was maybe the best player on the Rift overall, but you could also give that to Mako. His Nami play especially I thought was really good. And then, of course, he finally brought out the Leona, which I know people who follow the LPL and EDG more closely, like Kelsey Moser, Emily Rand, have been talking a lot about just wanting to see Mako on the initiators because of how that helps the team play better. So to get that actual point, you need to go check them out and see what they say about it. Don't let me just steal their point and don't attribute it to me. But lots of people brought in an effort today, and I think it sets up for what this team will have to do in the finals to make it close. And on any given day, any team can win a series, so it's not like we should go in and just write it off that Dom1's going to like 3-0 this thing or anything. I think EDG can take games. I think they have a chance to take the series. Maybe it's like a 70-30 or 75-25 even, but EDG can do this for sure, and they've got a lot of players who can come out and do some really good stuff. Viper and Mako should have the advantage as a bottom lane. I think Scout can do some really good things. Flandre is very skilled. Jungle is very, very clearly weighted towards Dom1. Canyon is such a dominating presence, and JJ didn't have his best series today. Already mentioned the smites, but aside from that, he had some good ganks and things, but he mostly camped out on the Jarvan 4 and wasn't. I don't know. I wasn't a huge fan of how he played it out, but it is a team effort, and that's what EDG showed today. That's how they won, was by individual members of the team stepping up at different times and working together. But yeah, Dom1 definitely huge favorites. So, I think we can go into the finals anticipating hopefully good entertainment value, at least a 4-game series, and I think EDG can make it close. I haven't locked in a prediction yet. If you ask me just pure gut, I would probably predict a Dom1 3-0, but that doesn't mean it's a foregone conclusion. We'll have to see what happens. Fantasy worked out pretty well. Had a bit of a hit there. Had been struggling to recapture my play-in's glory, but EDG winning brought out a good result there. So if you were following along, patreon.com/oracleselixir, hopefully that worked out well for you as well. Could have been a bit better, but it worked out okay. Call it a win. And finals is always a little weird. Different platforms kind of handle a single series contest differently. but we'll take a look at that and see what we can do with it. Yeah, those are my thoughts. I think relatively short today, but those are, more and more my brain space is being taken up by off season and all the news that is emerging there. And I'm also starting to get excited about scouting grounds as bits of information trickle out about that. The LCS scouting grounds has a lot of great players getting ready to attend. So there will be a lot more coverage of those things. And then also the final Dawnbringer of the tournament 6 days from now when the finals happen. So really looking forward to that. Hope you are as well. And catch you when that happens.